Okay. We're now going to talk about passive. Passive voice. What is the opposite of passive voice? Active. So far we've talked about active. Now passive. So what is passive? Can somebody give me a passive sentence? Somebody.
The building was opened in 1932.
The building was opened in 1932?
No, I said 1932.
Yeah. Okay. The window is broken. The door is closed. My wallet is stolen. Yes? Now, I go to school. Can I make it passive? I go to school every day. So I said the window is broken. It's a passive sentence. Why is it a passive sentence? Because we don't have the... Do we have the object in the sentence?
No.
The window is broken. Do we have the subject? The person who broke the window?
No.
Usually no subject. If you say John basically broke the window, John broke the window. But I don't know. I come in, you know. You know that yesterday John broke the window. I don't know. I come in and I see the window is broken. The window is broken. That's what I see. See, look, the window is broken. Who broke it? And you go like, I don't know. Maybe you don't want to say. So, basically we use passive when either we don't know who did something, the subject, or the subject is not important. Or we don't want to say who did something. Usually, is passive usually used in formal or informal?
Formal?
Informal conversations, informal writing, formal. So passive is usually formal. In documents, you are required to do something. It doesn't say who requires you to do it. You are required to. It is believed that, instead of people believe that. It is highly expected that. It is being done. This will be done by tomorrow. Your letter will be typed, written, and posted to you by tomorrow. By whom? Not important who does it. I need my letter. So passive voice usually for formal, either conversations or writing. That's why when you're writing, for example, for IELTS, it's good to use passive tense as much as you can. And also for any formal writing. The merchandise will be delivered on July 21st. Will be delivered. Instead of John will deliver the merchandise to you. So basically, some sentences cannot be made passive. Some verbs cannot be made passive. Why? Because we have, if I go to school, can I say school will be gone to?
No.
Why? Because go cannot be made passive. Why? Because the word go. I come home. He's coming. He's being come. So, why? Because we have transitive and intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs take object. Intransitive verbs, no object. No object. So no object can be made passive. Because when I say, John broke the window, I take the object of the sentence of this verb, which is basically a transitive verb. Break, you break something, right? So something is broken. This is the object. Object. And I use it as the subject of my passive sentence. If there is no object, I have no subject for my sentence. And if there is no subject in a sentence, that is not a sentence. But anyways, so remember, some verbs cannot be made passive. Go, because can I have an object after go? I go you? No. Remember rise and raise? The sun rises. Intransitive, no object. I can't make it. But I raised my hand. My hand was raised. I raised my hand. My hand was raised. Passive. The sun rises every morning. Can I say the sun is risen? By whom? If I say God rises the sun, and I can't say rises, I should say raises the sun, and I say the sun is raised. So the verbs that are intransitive cannot be made passive. Simple. But that's not the issue. Our issue is what kinds of verbs we have for passive and in what tenses. It's exactly like the 12 tenses that we looked at, and it's very simple. Before I do that, I give you some very easy formula. If you know the tenses well, passive would be very easy. Very easy. If you don't know your tenses very well, passive would be difficult. So please look at the tenses before you're passive. Check out the tenses before. Now, I want to start with a very simple sentence about writing a letter. But so I want to go simple present. I write a letter every day. I write a letter every day. I can say a letter is written by me every day. So I can say by me, or no, this is the agent, the doer. Is written, is done, is plus past participle. Simple present. How about simple? I'm sorry, that's simple present. Let's go simple past. I wrote a letter yesterday. I wrote a letter yesterday. Yes, a letter. If I want to continue, I should say the letter. If I don't want to continue, because now we know the letter. So a letter, and this should be capital because it's at the beginning. A letter was written. Now I can say by me yesterday. If I say I will write a letter, write a letter tomorrow. A letter will be written by me tomorrow. Easy, right? I wrote a letter yesterday. The letter or a letter was written. I write a letter, letter is written. I will write a letter, letter will be written. So, it is actually, in simple tenses, it's the verb be. In the past, be was, where. Now it's am, is, or are. In the future, it will be, will be. Plus past participle. In simple tenses, all simple tenses, 3 simple tenses, be plus past participle. I write a letter, letter is written. I write letters, the letters are written. I wrote 2 letters, 2 letters were written. Was no were, 2 letters were written. I will write 2 letters, 2 letters will be written. You will be judged before a grand jury or in the next world. Will be judged. Somebody will judge you, you will be judged. Yes? Very easy, right? Easy to remember. Now, these are simple tenses. Now we want to go continuous. I am writing a letter. So for simple cases, let's keep the formula.
The letter is being written.
Very good. So if I say I am writing a letter, I am writing a letter. It would be a letter, which would be capital. A letter is being written. Now I can go on by me. So the point is this is being. If it's I'm writing 2 letters are being written. So the point is it will be being. Be plus being plus past participle. Be plus be being. So this is simple. This is continuous, progressive. So I'm writing a letter. I was writing a letter when you came. A letter was being. Is being, was being, will be being. A letter, I was writing a letter was being written. I will write a letter will be being written. Very simple. It's just, instead of be done, will be being done. So, or be being done. Be being, which is be being. Is being, are being, 2 letters. He's writing 2 letters. 2 letters are being written. Are being written. He will be writing your letter in a second. In a second, your letter will be being will be being. Remember, will be being written because it's will be plus being. Yeah? Now, perfect tenses. I have written a letter.
A letter has been written.
I have written a letter. A letter or the letter, depending. A letter
Has been
has been written. I can say by me. Yeah? Are we good? So all perfect tenses will be
written has been.
be. So it's like in the present tense we have has. Have a has. In the past would be had. In the future would be will have. Plus been. Plus PP have been done. So perfect tenses have or has been done, will have been done, had been done. Perfect. I have written a letter. A letter has been written. I will have written a letter. Future perfect, the hard tense. The letter will have been. You add one been. Will have been written. Will have been written. I had written a letter. The letter had been written. Now, you should learn how to use them. Of course, when you say had been written, it's past perfect. Past perfect was something before something else. The letter had been written before I arrived. I went over there to kick his ass because I was mad at him because he had not written my letter. But the letter he was lucky because the letter had been finished by the time I got there. I'm sorry, this was not formal conversation. Kind of late. The merchandise had been delivered before John called. Had been delivered before. The mail had been received. The mail has been received. The mail, by tomorrow 6 o'clock, you will have received the mail. The mail will have been received. You will have received the mail. The mail will have been received. I received the mail last night. The mail was received. I receive mail every day. Mail is received. I will receive your mail tomorrow. Your mail will be received. Continuous. I am receiving what? Tens of emails. Right now they're coming. I am receiving tens of emails. Tens of emails are being received. I was receiving tens of emails when you called last night. I couldn't answer you. Tens of emails were being received. I will be receiving tens of emails in a minute from him. In a minute, tens of emails will be being. Be being is will be being. See. Perfect. I have received an email from him. An email has been received. I had received an email from the boss. I had sent an email before you called me. You called me to tell me not to send the email. I called Saki last night to tell her don't send Darby that email. But the email had been sent already. Had been sent before I called. So, right now I'm just giving you the formulas. Next, I expect to hear tomorrow, we'll do another video on examples, and I want you to come up with natural sentences. What is difficult? When you go to school to a stupid grammar class, what happens is you sit down and you memorize rules of grammar. And some stupid sentences like these. But the next thing I want you to do is I want you to come up with natural sentences. And the next thing I want you to do is the homework for passive, which passive is very important, to actually go, choose articles, and really find passive sentences and bring them. And tell me what the passive sentences are, because they naturally happen in texts. You must be familiar with the natural occurrence of these things, not just some stupid formulas. The formula is good because it helps you produce sentences, and based on these formulas, we will be producing a lot of sentences. So this first video I'm doing for you guys, it's just for the formula. But then the real challenge is finding out the actual usage of passive, not just the formula. Okay. So, perfect. Now, more challenging than perfect would be perfect continuous. And then we're done. Perfect continuous. Perfect continuous means what? Like, I will have finished my homework by 6 o'clock this evening, right? Future perfect, remember? I will have finished. Is that perfect continuous? No. I will have been writing a letter. I will have been working on this project. I will have been
Producing a lot of stupid.
I will have been producing a lot of stupid sentences. A lot of stupid sentences. I will have been producing a lot of stupid sentences by the time the class finishes, by 3 o'clock this afternoon. A lot of stupid sentences. A lot of stupid sentences will have been being produced by me. Very proudly. A lot of stupid sentences will have been being produced. It will have been produced, future perfect. It means I will have produced. I will have been producing, will have been being produced. This one is kind of tough. Do you ever see it? Very rarely, maybe once in every 100 years, and that should be a stupid class like race class.
Class.
Yeah.
Do you use it in your normal context? Everyday life?
Yeah. Next, that's what I want to do. Now, I give you the tough one. I have been washing the dishes for 2 hours. The dishes have been being washed. I have been typing this letter for 2 hours and it won't finish. The letter has been being typed. Has been being. So basically, you need been being. Remember, because it's perfect and continuous. For perfect, you need been. For continuous, you need being. For passive, you need PP, past participle. Done. So here you need be. No, it's
Have.
yeah.
Will have.
You need have, has,
Will have.
had, and will have. Have been being, has been being done, have been being done, will have been being done, had been being done.
Me crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the words were nuts, crazy, demented, moron, and
No, you drive me crazy.
lunatic, driving me crazy. Yeah. This one is the toughest. The letter, he has been typing the letter for 2 hours. The letter has been being typed. The letters, 2 letters, have been being typed. He had been typing a letter for 2 hours when I went there with the printed form of a letter, the letter. The letter had been being typed by him when I arrived with a final copy of. Now, the question is, there's good news and bad news. The good news is, not every single tense of passive is used very often. Usually the present tense is used. And usually in phrases like, you are required to, it is highly recommended that you do this. It is required of the members of the parliament to do this. You're writing, for example, formally. Most managers, most students are expected to do this and that. That's why I want you to find actual usage of passive for yourselves. Actually today, I need you to find, I need it for you to find actual usage of passive in articles outside on the internet or anywhere you see. It's easy, go to the internet, find some articles, just read. Find the passive voice. I'll do it right now in just a second. For you. Yes? I'll read anything. For example, let's go to MRI. We were working on MRI, and I just want to read the article. I need silence, I need everyone's attention. The first passive voice, let me see who gets it. Magnetic resonance imaging, nuclear magnetic resonance imaging, or magnetic resonance blah blah, is a medical imaging technique used in radiology to investigate the anatomy and physiology of the body in both health and disease. What's their passive?
Is used.
Used. In the first sentence we have the passive verb. So this thing is used in biology. It is used in biology. Do we say who used it? No. That was the first tense. MRI scanners use strong magnetic fields. This is passive or active? This is active because MRI scanners use. Yes? Who uses? Scanners. Use strong magnetic fields and radio waves to form blah blah. The technique is widely used. It is widely used. It is passive. Who uses it? The technique is widely used. That's what they expect you to write, like in a test like IELTS. Because it's academic writing. In academic writing, we use passive all the time. Yes? MRI has a wide range of applications in whatever, and there are estimated to be, look, there are estimated to be over 25,000 scanners. Do we know who estimates? No. There are estimated. So people estimate. Scientists estimate, for example, but we don't know who. So there are estimated to be over 25,000 scanners. MRI has an impact on. So you see that basically passive is used. Not in stupid sentences like the letter is being written, but actually we use. So where's my letter? Your letter is being written as we speak. You don't want to say who because the guy's going to kill the person. What happened to my letter?
Okay.
Your letter is being typed right now. Sir, could you please sit down? So, what we talked about was just a formula. I want to go very fast. The other way around. Yeah, 5 minutes. Cool. I write a letter every day. A letter is written by me every day. I am writing a letter now. A letter is being written by me. I have written a letter. A letter has been written by me. I have been writing a letter for 2 hours. A letter has been being written by me for 2 hours. Anything that is perfect has a been. Anything that is continuous has a being. Anything that is perfect continuous has a been being. And definitely past participle, used, gone, not gone, because gone is done. Finished, completed, anything. Now, I wrote a letter last night. A letter was written last night. I had written a letter. A letter
Has been written.
had been written. Had been written.
Had been written.
So, I had been writing a letter. A letter had been being. Had been writing, both. Been being, because been, being. Perfect, continuous, perfect. I will write a letter. A letter will be written. I will be writing a letter. A letter will be being written. I will have written a letter. The letter or a letter will have been written. Will have been written. I will have been writing a letter. A letter will have been being written. Will have been being written. 12 sentences, 12 tenses, 12 passive formula. The challenge is finding the actual use in English language by looking at articles and all that, finding those, and then based on those, trying to use passive where it is natural. It's important not to use passive or any other grammatical structure unnaturally. It's important to know when it's natural to use it. Thank you.
And I'm going to write a letter.